welcome back to the Weekly Hijack.
Hello, Tim.
Okay, we're doing something a little different here. We thought since it's at end of May, pretty much officially end of the 2014-2015 TV season, we'll talk about some of the shows that we've been watching that are not Once Upon a Time.
Lightning round.
Because I think you've probably heard us talk plenty about Once Upon a Time. Or if you haven't,
you can go find it.
Yes, they're out there. So first off, because we talked about it a couple of times, I think, during the Once Upon a Time thing, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Season 2.
Season 2. This actually, I think, is still one of my favorite shows that is currently on right now. I really enjoyed a lot of the new characters they had in this whole thing.
They moved those guys in really well.
And I would argue that their season finale was the best that I had seen of any show this spring.
They moved a lot of things forward. There's a lot of, they had a ton of tension and they changed a lot of things up from season 1.
Oh, yeah.
And they didn't necessarily fix some of the stuff that you thought, earlier I thought, they're going to fix Fitz real quick. And they really didn't.
No.
He got better.
And then at the end, it was like, yes, they're going to get together and have dinner. And then she got 8 by that.
And you're like,
Yeah, that's unfortunate. That was really unfortunate.
And I
tell you, rule of TV, never go on a date. Something bad will happen.
You know what? What I was impressed with, it was that show, we were talking about Once Upon a Time where
They're almost killing people.
They didn't kill them. I had a second there when I thought, holy crap, they're going to kill Coulson. When
he grabbed that thing?
Yeah, I was like, how they're really going to do it?
Well,
I was like, how can this show? And I thought this show might actually do it. They could, And
I thought they might kill Bobby.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
I know, but I thought I wouldn't put it past them.
Well, I didn't think they would because there had been some rumors about possibly doing a spinoff with Bobby and Mac, or not Mac. Who's her ex-husband? Hunter. There had been some talks about that, but I think they eventually decided not to do that because
they shouldn't do that. That would be bad.
Yeah, but they cut off his hand. I mean, it's crazy.
I was really impressed.
Yeah.
I hope Stark gives him something cool.
Yeah. Or, use some deathlock technology. There are ways. There are things you can do with that.
I have to say, they played the Sky's dad really well. I mean, because they set that up for the end. Great. With a couple episodes back about the whole, him taking her on the tour. Best day ever.
No, it's so sad and cool at the same time that he ended up being the more sane of the two parents.
Yeah, that was not expected. I mean, he was a character I did not like for quite a while because he was crazy, but then he became, but then he became kind of lovable crazy, and it was really unexpected.
Well, you know what was impressive? Again, why this show is better than most of the other ones. His character was always consistent. He was always about Sky. That was his thing. It was always about Sky the whole time.
Yeah, that's true.
And they never deviated from that.
The great thing is, they're all consistent, but they constantly are changing too.
Yeah,
they're constantly evolving. I mean, Gemma was kind of nuts this season, but it made sense within
what she had gone through, and she had more
Coulson
experiences.
And May had that weird falling out thing, which was just felt.
Yeah, wrong. It's like mommy and daddy fighting sort of thing.
Oh, and then there's Ward.
Oh, I was really kind of hoping actually Ward would die at the end of the season.
I expected them to kill him. I was like, well, finally they're going to kill him. But at the same time, I have to say, maybe I'm the only one who feels this way. I have long been hoping Ward is not completely insane, but it looks more.
Yeah, I think that boat has sailed.
I would agree.
I know, and I keep expecting it. I don't know why, but makes me mad.
Now, you know what? If they would, here's what will happen. Hopefully it doesn't, because they'll have borrowed some writers from Once Upon a Time. But if he comes back again, and then he's good for a while, and then he goes evil, they need to stop that.
But they've never made him good yet, Zach.
No, they haven't.
No, they haven't, which has been good, because that's what I don't want this back and forth.
I don't know. Is there a group called Chaos in Marvel, do you know?
I'm sure there is.
Well,
that's Get Smart, but
okay, maybe okay. I don't know. They didn't say that, but first of all, maybe that's another one of those weird,
There are a lot of secret organizations.
I wonder
in
if he would start
nowadays.
another one, or whether they're curious.
I want to know what motivates him, because for a long time it was Sky, and now he doesn't have that. And this whole season, I'm like, he's just playing the girl. He's just playing the girl. And then, like, it seems like he really loves her at the end. I'm like, okay, you are insane.
Well,
the thing is, I really liked Ward. I loved Ward.
Mm-hmm.
And so for them to turn him completely evil, I need to know what motivates him. I need to have a reason, that he could be redeemed, but it really doesn't look like it.
Yeah. I think one interview I read from him suggested that he really did have feelings for the girl, but it was sort of like a Sky replacement in a sense. Like he wants someone. He did want to have someone that he could lead. I guess they could follow him around and appeal to that good side. But I do think, like what Bobby said to him, is like he's a guy that can never take responsibility for his own actions.
Yeah,
he always
true.
has some sort of excuse.
I would be okay if, and I thought they'd do that this season. I think he should go away. I don't want to continue to see him every season. I think he's going to wear out his...
Yeah, but I think they'll bring it to a head because he was kind of on the side all season.
No, I'm fine. I'm fine with him being in the next one as long as they bring it to a head and then be done with him.
Yeah.
Him lingering all the time, to me, I don't know.
We'll see.
Yeah. So anyway, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., really, really strong stuff, my opinion. Like the season finale felt like a movie. Like it was so much stuff going on in that.
Yeah.
But all right. Next, let's go to, which one do you want to do first, Flash or Arrow?
Let's go with Arrow first.
Okay, go with Arrow. I've had a love-hate relationship with this show for a long time. Like sometimes I'm loving it. Like at the beginning of the season, I was really in love with it again because I love the superhero team-ups that they do and all that sort of stuff. I didn't think the League of Assassins arc was very strong by the end.
It was so annoying. The whole League of Assassins thing, because you could never beat the guy, and I mean, I guess that's part of the whole superhero story. You always have to have the villain who's winning and be the underdog. I don't know.
Well, and I think part of the problem too is that the League of Assassins was not very well defined. Like they apparently they went around killing people that were bad, but like, what is their philosophy behind? Like they didn't. At some point, he wants Oliver to join the League and says, you can reform it however you want, and it's like, well, then what would it be then exactly? Like, so things like that. And yeah, the fact that he had to trust Malcolm Merlyn and do some just really, and I think I've said elsewhere that in some ways Oliver is the most aggravating character on the show because he tries to do so much himself. And look, you've developed all these great teammates, but you won't trust a single one of them, it seems like. So. And
then they won't trust him. I'm like,
yeah.
Is the girl's name Felicity? Is that who it is?
Yes.
Yeah.
She's the best. She's my favorite on the whole show.
I mean, I love the little mini arc they had at the beginning of in the midway point where it was the other guys basically trying to take care of the city while he was away. It was like a little 3-episode arc with that brick guy, and I thought that was really cool.
Though him dying, I could have done without that.
Yeah. Well, anyway.
Yeah, I put Arrow and Flash in with, like, they both remind me of Smallville.
Not as bad as Smallville.
No. They don't have, well...
And I liked Smallville.
Well, no, they're not as bad as Smallville yet. Smallville in the first 3 seasons was fine. Yeah. When you got to season... Don't let Brianna listen to this. She will kill me. It just went on and on. I mean, things back and forth. I heard it was in the middle there. It got worse. I heard the end was better of Smallville. I don't know. I will be rewatching it because I'll be encouraged to. But to me, it's that they're fun. They're more popcorny than than how I think of like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Okay.
That's how I feel these at least.
I mean, the one thing these shows have over Smallville, at least I don't know much about Smallville, but I know they have it's a Superman show where he never wears a costume. And I'm like, that's kind of lame.
These are definitely
they actually
superheroes. So.
Yes, not like trying to fake it.
Now I will say I do out of the 2 shows, Flash and Arrow. I always wanted to see Arrow first. I was always more interested in that, maybe just because it's gone on longer and I'm more invested with the characters. Once I sat down and watched Flash, I was always very impressed with it. and it's probably the stronger of the two at this point. Mm-hmm. But Arrow is always that one that I wanted to be better.
Well, Arrow is closer to this type of YA dark kind of stuff that you like.
Yeah,
so.
Well, that's the thing. Arrow does not have the humor that Flash has in it.
Yeah.
It's not as I don't know.
It's not as lighthearted. Fun.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's not as light.
It's more Batman vein, basically.
Arrow is
kind
of.
And I like that.
I do too, but it
like you need the right balance though of the darkness. Like for me, like I always like I expect it to be darker and a bit more serious and all this stuff, but there's something about there's some weird balance where, and I think this is something I forgot to talk about in my taste thing. The thing that bugs me sometimes about Oliver Queen as a hero is that bad villain choices don't bug me as much. I know some people are like, why does a villain make such a stupid mistake? Bad hero choices bug me a lot more because like when you're not being as heroic as you should be, then like it takes away some of the enjoyment of the whole concept for me.
See, I would be interested in. Have either of you watched Gotham?
No, I watched like the pilot episode. And
see, I'd be interested because that's a show. That is one of the few the DC has done recently. I mean, and I don't know how much DC that is because I mean, obviously it's Batman, but I don't know who owns what part of what right now. Yeah. Obviously, Fox is involved in that one, but it's just dark. It's not like Arrow tries to play this line that is back and forth in some of its lighthearted, especially when they brought in the Atom. He's a goofy kind of doesn't.
Right.
I would be interested in seeing how if they would do Arrow. I think Arrow could be done really well like Gotham is. I have really enjoyed Gotham. I thought it was a really good show and brought a whole new side to the Bruce Wayne things that hasn't been done before.
Well, see, I had two issues with. I only watched the pilot of Gotham, but I have two issues with like it as a show. One is that it felt like just from the pilot, it felt like a generic cop show. Like, I mean, a little more out there, but it's like this doesn't really need. I don't really need another cop show in my life. I watch NCIS sometimes.
I can see that.
The other issue, I was like, because it's Gotham, you're gonna have this temptation to like bring in like all the Muppet Babies versions of these characters, like all the younger ones.
And they have done that, but I have been thoroughly impressed with their actor choices and they're doing them. The guy Mom, you guys have watched this, and I know they don't like it as much because it is dark. But the guy who plays Penguin is fantastic. He is brilliant in this. The whole first season is basically about Penguin. I mean, they slide in. There was an episode with Joker, and there's an episode with the Scarecrow guy, and there's an episode with some other people. But the overarching thing has been a lot of Penguin. Mm-hmm. And he's just fantastic. The actor is brilliant. I've never seen Penguin done as well since Danny DeVito did it.
Well, that's a very bizarre version of Penguin.
No, and it is. And this guy, I think there was certainly the temptation to do these Muppet Baby, versions. Uh-huh. But I think they have done really neat backstory, really neat young Gotham stuff. Okay. I mean, Selena Kyle has hung out with Bruce Wayne this whole time, and she's this street girl, and he has this little crush on her.
And see, that's the one thing I'm curious about. Like, if you have all this, for one, how long can you keep that up before you get into actual Batman? Like, how long can it be a prologue,
I agree.
A prequel before you're like start? Okay, when is he gonna just put on the cape already? And how much prequel history can you give these people?
And, well, it's interesting. I'm not a Batman aficionado, so I would be interested how like hardcore Batman fans feel about this because I'm sure it like ruins all backstory stuff and whatnot. But like the last episode of the season finale, Bruce has been investigating his dad's murder a little bit and this corruption inside Wayne Enterprises. And, there was this guy at Wayne Enterprises who hired somebody to come find out what he knows because Wayne Enterprises is all corrupt and stuff. And he goes in and finds out some information. Anyways, at the end, Bruce and his butler and Alfred find the fireplace opens up and find this cave thing. And so they're doing some really neat, and the way they've done it is really neat. They've done some neat things that make me interested in this new backstory of Batman that I really enjoyed. Anyways, I took I hijacked your hijack.
That's fine.
Gotham stuff. But my whole point from saying that and talking about Gotham was that I think it would be interesting to see something like Arrow done that way. I know Marvel has done that with Daredevil. I haven't finished the season of Daredevil, but that is just dark.
Yes.
It doesn't have any humor. It doesn't have any, and DC, with what they've done on CW with Flash and Arrow and stuff, has stayed pretty lighthearted in their way of doing things. It would be interesting to see, and until Daredevil, so is Marvel. Yeah. Marvel hasn't done anything really dark,
really different. Yeah.
I think it'd be interesting to see how DC would do that with one of those. I think that'd be neat to see. Not Flash. That's too fun to do. But I think Arrow would make a decent one. Oliver Queen is not a lighthearted guy.
No.
He's a pretty...
I mean, I guess the closest to that, it might have come as last season. I did enjoy, even though it got very intense, I did enjoy the Deathstroke, the Slade Wilson arc. That I think he was I think he's been their best villain so far. But we've been talking way more on that stuff. Well, and we got a new show in there, Gotham, that we didn't expect to talk about. We'll touch on The Flash real quick. I enjoyed the season because it is a very fun, lighthearted show, like everyone said. I had a few issues with the finale. It just seemed like it was a very bad idea. It's like, there's a possibility that you might create a black hole in the city by doing this, but it should be all right. We'll trust the villain, the evil villain that killed your mother, and we'll just go along with all this. The finale seemed to have a lot of, we're going to do this because it would be a boring episode if we didn't. But I am very curious to see what they'll do with the fallout of it next season. So I am looking forward to that.
I have to say, again, this is my thing with villains. I really liked Harrison Wells. I liked Ward.
Well,
made me so mad that he was so evil.
You liked Harrison Wells, though. That's the thing. I know you said that once before, and then just we didn't quite understand when you said that before. It was like an episode or two before we saw that it's not even Harrison Wells.
No, but
so
how he was acting.
I know, which is to say we still do like Harrison Wells because he was a good guy, but he died a long time ago. And,
except
pretended to be him the whole time.
Except now, who knows? That's the weird thing about the weird time altering timeline. When after Eddie Thawne killed himself, and then which would prevent the Reverse Flash from existing. Well, then what does that mean exactly? With this whole chain of events, which was started by the Reverse Flash.
You can't two-timey-wimey. That doesn't.
I know.
Whose hat came out of the thing? One of my SOL kids told me whose hat.
It's another version of the Flash.
Okay.
Yeah, Jay Garrick. In comic book history, actually the first Flash, but
that's what.
Yeah. But anyway, so we won't go on too much longer than that. And then Person of Interest, which I think only Zach and I watch. Really enjoyed this season. They've been doing this big arc with Samaritan, an evil version of the machine, an AI, basically is getting ready to go all Big Brother on us. Did you hear, Zach, that they next season got a smaller order?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I had not seen if they even got picked back up.
They did get picked back up, but it's not coming back until next spring.
So it's
it's like a 13 episode run, which I'm a little concerned about. I mean, the funny thing is, I had thought after the finale, I thought, I bet they could wrap this up in one more season, just because.
I thought they could.
Yeah.
I thought they probably should.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was going to get picked up for much more than another season anyway.
Well, yeah, because of that, and also, well, for one, this is kind of their the Samaritan thing has been their other big arc after the HR one. And the HR one took about 2.5 seasons to finish. So it seemed like they were about a season and a half into the Samaritan one. One more should do it. But I am a little concerned that they'll only have 13 episodes instead of 22. I hope that doesn't compress it too much.
I think it'll be interesting to see. My guess is that I think they can pull it off. I think they...
I mean, you wouldn't have something like the filler episodes, which you have, just your general person of the week. Which those can be fun. I mean, they're usually a nice breather, and they're still very intriguing.
And usually they keep the story going a little bit, but not as big. Yeah, I think they'll do a good job with it. They probably won't get to tie as many things together. You know, they keep tying in these gang wars with the Samaritan and everything, which is all really cool. I mean, it makes it a great show. It'll be interesting with a shorter season if they'll be able to do that as well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, some of those gang leaders are gone now too. So I mean, really, they've killed off some of their subplots.
Yeah.
So I mean, and then the other reason I thought that was probably time to really ramp up the Samaritan thing is this whole season, Samaritan has basically been winning. Like they've been kind of pushing the characters into a corner. I don't know that you can get them any more in a corner than where they're at now.
I will be very interested. I think it needs to wrap up. I think another season, I don't think they would have gotten another one after this next one anyways. Just because, though it's a fantastic show, I just don't think the people are watching it as much as I think they should for the show.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't have the hype as some of the other ones. And and one other problem I found out is it's one of those shows that's not actually owned by CBS.
Oh.
So CBS is not inclined to give it its prime real estate space. So that,
I think it's my favorite thing to see Ben Linus on. I mean, I don't know how I'll feel about watching Lost with him now that I've seen him as Harold. I think he's I just love him in that show.
Yeah.
Does he naturally have that limp?
No, I don't think so. He's fantastic.
He has a limp.
No,
not limp. His neck.
No, that's just on person of interest, I think.
Yeah.
In Lost, he doesn't move right in Lost.
Well, just in season 3 when he had his back issue, but I think it worked.
I don't know. He's brilliant, and I want to see. I would be very interested to see how they wrap up this series because the other thing is, it has also been a message show in talking about civil liberties and what government should and shouldn't do. It showed both sides, which I love that about it because it doesn't say, no, you shouldn't do this or no, you shouldn't do this. On both sides it goes, well, this is why monitoring would be good because these things happen and this is why it's also bad.
Yeah.
And so I'll just be interested to see where that story ends up.
Yeah, that's a very good point. And along with all this, it's been very cool to see the characters grow more together as a team. Because, they've always worked together, but more recently, John's been opening up, trying to finally trust in his people a little bit more. And I think that's a cool direction, especially since, now that they're not going to be able to rely on the Sheen as much in this next bit. So it'll be cool to see where all the characters end up and all that stuff. But okay, so that's 5 shows counting Gotham. Do we miss anything important?
That's all I've got.
Nick's like, I don't watch nearly as much TV.
I don't watch much television, honestly.
Survivor. No.
And yet you do a TV reaction podcast.
I don't even remember.
I know. It's largely stuff that's already been watched.
All right, but you can count on us for more Lost, definitely as the summer goes on. But I hope you enjoyed this. Let us know in the comments somewhere.
Yes.
Comments? Yeah, it's a novel idea. Thanks again for listening. This is Tim.
No, this is Nick.
And
I didn't even talk much. You guys didn't even say your names.
Hey, I'm Nat. Natasha.
And that guy over there?
I'm Zach.
Yay, we finally got him to introduce himself.
Yay! I'm the one who doesn't like the music on the other podcast.
Thanks again. Bye.
Bye.